I've been an artist all my life, very creative, just improvising all the time. I think I became an artist when, officially I should say, when I got my first recognition. What drew me to becoming an artist has to do with my grandfather. He was a master carpenter in Mexico. He used to teach the children how to work with wood, and it just kind of inspired me to really kind of create, since I was very young, and seeing him work in his workshop. I work with paper. I'm inspired by papel picado. Papel picado is an indigenous Mexican craft that I think I kind of gravitated to papel picado and to paper because I made a connection with the characteristics of paper in the vulnerable communities that I come from. I taught myself how to cut paper with an X-Acto knife to kind of mimic a little bit the papel picado, but it became so much more, than trying to mimic, the craft itself. It became, my individual personality was completely involved with the cutting process. And the cutting process has grown exponentially since I first began, from cutting flat work to creating pop-ups, to creating layering, to creating paper sculptures, and even wearable art. The work that I've created for this upcoming exhibition has to do with my desire to create paper sculptures, just kind of moving forward to another stage in my career. The work that I will be presenting is really based on climate change and climate justice, especially when it comes to coral reefs and the heating of the oceans. And that became something really that I became really interested in because I am from South Texas, and some of my family members also had to deal with fishing, and they were connected to the earth in that way. And I just became really interested in understanding how, to manipulate the paper enough to create my interpretation of coral reefs. Because I received the DeHaan Artist of Distinction Award in December of 2020 in the middle of a pandemic, receiving the award itself was extremely great. I'm grateful because, again, it was not something that I received by myself, but also my family and my extended family as well. And also my creativity was just constant. It just helped me to have that relief and not worry about financial matters, so that I could focus completely on my creativity. And I believe that I really went beyond my creative challenges. The creative process took me, hundreds and hundreds of hours, honestly, figuring out how to create paper sculptures in different ways, not just cutting with an X-Acto knife, but also cutting with, just straight up paper with my hands. And the work became extremely textured, and just because I wanted to really emphasize the many layers in the intricacy of the corals. So I did a lot of research on individual corals and sea life, and wanted to see how can I, mimic the texture with the paper. So yes, it took a bit. It took hundreds of hours for me to continue to create the pieces that I'm going to be featuring. The work that has come out of this particular time in my life has been extremely experimental. I'm constantly pushing myself in challenging the paper to see what else and how else I can manipulate it to do what I want it to do. I've gotten to a point in my artist career that has allowed me the opportunity, especially this last grant with the DeHaan Artist of Distinction Award, to give me the opportunity to really challenge my work and to eventually decide if I'm going to continue working with this medium or I'm going to move forward. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now, and I'm very happy to have been part of this journey with the DeHaan Artist of Distinction Award.